Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about a topic, the Scrum Framework. Friend, today's topic is very interesting and very important with respect to implementation of software project using the Scrum Framework. So let's start. First of all, I will request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. What is actually the Scrum Framework? Scrum is a framework which we use to implement the software projects, which is basically based on the concepts of Agile, and Agile says that we can implement the project using the iteration based or the incremental based approach. Actually, in the Scrum framework we have mainly three roles: product owner, which is a person who has the bright ideas or complete knowledge about the product which needs to be developed. The Scrum Master is a person who has having the knowledge about the Scrum framework, Scrum methodology and best practices, and the Scrum team, which is basically the development team like software developers, the software engineers, the production engineers, the QA persons, etc. So from here, if you just see from here, basically the product owner, basically he has all the information about user stories. User story is a requirements of functional requirements of the product actually. So product owner makes and maintain the product backlog. Product backlog is a document which has all the requirements, functional requirements of the product which needs to be developed. From here, the Scrum team basically do the sprint planning meeting, and during the sprint planning meeting they decide, they pick the requirements from here from product backlog, and they make the sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is basically a set of requirements which needs to be developed for the sprint. The sprint is a 3 to 4 week time period, time box basically, in which we do the planning, developing, testing and reviewing the things to the customer. So basically sprint is a 3 to 4 weeks time period, and it basically contains, it is based on the sprint backlog which is we have taken from the product backlog. Okay, during the sprint the Scrum team do the daily Scrum meeting, in which the Scrum team discuss daily basis that what we have done yesterday, what we are doing today, and what are the impediments, issues and bottlenecks they are facing, and the Scrum Master is responsible to resolve and look into those issues. After the sprint, which is based on 3 to 4 weeks, the product basically the set of sprint requirements which we have developed, the sprint review meeting held. In the sprint review meeting, the Scrum team showcase their work and demo their work to the product owner and the customer, that what we have developed, and if it's okay, it will be okay to shipment for it. After the sprint review meeting, the next meeting is the sprint retrospective meeting. In the sprint retrospective meeting, the Scrum team discussed that what went well, which should be continued, what went wrong, which should not be continued and avoided, and what were the issues and problems they have faced in that particular sprint, so that they can learn from that particular sprint and they can improve, and they can get the more quality in their work actually. So from once the sprint finish, so the product owner again the cycle repeats, and again the sprint planning meeting held, and the Scrum team gets the sprint backlog from the product backlog, and this cycle continues until we reach at the end of the sprint, end of the requirement. In that way, the each sprint continues, and with each iteration we reach at the end of the product and we complete the product development. Okay, so basically this is the concept of the Scrum framework. Now friend, remember one thing, that the Scrum framework has three main pillars, which is basically called as the three pillars of empiricism. What those pillars are: the transparency, the inspection, and then the adoption. Now what is actually the empiricism? Empiricism means working in a fact based on experience and evidence based manner. Scrum implements empirical process where progress is based on observations of reality, not fictitious plans. Scrum also places great emphasis on mindset and cultural shift to achieve business and organizations agility. So, the pillars are: first pillar is the transparency. Transparency means presenting the facts as it is. All people involved, the customer, the CEO, senior management, individual contributors and are transparent in their day-to-day dealings with others. Then the next pillar is the inspection. Inspection should be done for the product, process, people, aspects, practices and continuous improvement by everyone on the Scrum team. Here remember that inspection doesn't mean that there is some inspector who is basically inspecting all the things. Is inspection means that all people who are contributing, they are responsible to inspect their own self. Then the adoption. Adoption is another pillar which is in the context is about continuous improvement, the ability to adopt based on the results of the inspection. That means whenever we are like showcasing our work to customer or product owner, so whatever the feedback we are getting, whatever the changes are required, so we shall adopt it accordingly. Basically the Scrum framework is not very rigid as compared to the waterfall model. Like whatever the feedback is there, whatever the customer requirement is there, so Scrum team should be self organized, self motivated and they should be able to adopt the things according to the requirements of the product. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you friends.